Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Chaco in Argentina. We are up here in northern Argentina in a region also known as the Gran Chaco. We've talked a lot about when we've covered Paraguay, because most of Paraguay up there is part of the Gran Chaco as well. But it spreads pretty much all over this area here. Gran Chaco is a lowland kind of plateau area. And apparently it comes from the Quechua word for hunting grounds. So you can imagine it's full of various wildlife and things. But after, I would say after the Spanish, but it was really after the independence from the Spanish that this area became very industrialized in terms of agriculture and livestock. So a lot of it is not forested, open plains, anything like that anymore. It's mostly farmland, especially here in Chaco province. The capital of Chaco province is Resistencia, over here along the Parana River. You can see up here, this is the Paraguay River, and they meet right north of Resistencia. Corrientes is just across the river as well, in, of course, Corrientes province. Up here we have El Impenetrable National Park, one of the most thickly forested areas in Argentina. And pretty much the rest is just farmland villages. You can see all of the towns follow the major roads here because everything else is just open plains like you can see here. It's pretty, it's the countryside, it's the Chaco. I don't know how else to describe it other than it's the Chaco. So let's talk about the history here, because there are many, many different indigenous groups that lived here, mostly of Guarani origin, and I believe like Quechua. There were quite a few. Chaco is one of the few provinces in Argentina that has an official language other than Spanish. I think they have three, I want to say, other national, state, province languages other than Spanish, which is pretty great. There's a very large indigenous culture, and there still is to this day a lot of indigenous people living here in Chaco province. One of the few places in Argentina that can say that, because the south of Argentina is where the conquest of the desert took place. And not a very large indigenous population in the south than there is in the north, because that persecution did not occur up here in the north of Argentina, because there wasn't that much here to like claim and colonize. It's just the open wilderness here. It's the Chaco. So when the Spanish got here in the 1500s, the indigenous people here told them that they mined for iron over here, and that the rocks that they mined from fell from the sky. And apparently they were like, oh, okay, and they filed that away. And it resurfaced a couple hundred years later. And they were like, what does this mean? Is this actually something? So in 1773, they did an exploration of the area out here, which of course was nothing for miles and miles and miles at that point. And they found a very large meteorite field with some of the largest meteorites ever found on Earth. A lot of them have been plucked and taken to various museums, some overseas, some throughout Argentina. There's one in the university here, but I looked all over and there wasn't any pictures. But there is a meteorite museum. This area is called, oh, I didn't write it down. What's it called? The Cielo? I can't remember what it's called. We'll see it on Google Earth. But they have a museum there for the meteorites. It's pretty great. I think it said they hit the Earth around 6,000 years ago. It's pretty cool. I love space. I love space stuff. That would be a place I'd want to go to if I ever came to this part of Argentina. Resistencia had quite a tough beginning. It was established 3 times. The first time was in 1585. After repeated attacks from the indigenous population, it was abandoned in 1632. Then in the 1700s, around that time, it was occupied again by the Jesuits, which were very famous in Paraguay because this area was, I guess, essentially part of Paraguay. This area's borders were very nebulous around that time. There was no, it was all part of Spain, but I think it became part of Paraguay because there was a very large Jesuit presence around Paraguay attempting to convert the natives, building complexes where they could live and work and learn about Christianity. But they abandoned it in 1773. It was finally permanently established in 1876. By then, the War of the Triple Alliance had ended. The Triple Alliance being Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay against Paraguay. It was easily the biggest conflict that South America has ever seen. The biggest, the bloodiest. Paraguay got whooped pretty bad. Paraguay was trying to get a coastline, a port, and all these countries weren't having it. So they fought back, and Paraguay lost a lot of land, which is why I believe this was technically Paraguay once upon a time. I never saw any source that said that, but when I read the Jesuit missions, I was like, that's gotta have been a part of Paraguay. And the Paraguay River's right there. I bet you anything. But it became part of Argentina after that. So the borders were drawn. They named this area the Chaco province. So Resistencia was actually established by Italian immigrants. The people here are very proud of their various heritages. It's indigenous and many, many immigrants. In the end of the 19th century into the 20th, the most immigrated to country was the United States. Number 2 was Argentina. So many Europeans, Eastern Europeans, Italians, Irish moved here, along with Chinese. There's some Japanese, I want to say. People from all over. Russians. And they built up this town themselves through the indigenous population and the immigrant population. And the other interesting fact was that in 1950, I believe, they changed the name from Chaco to Presidente Juan Perón, because that was during the time, that was when Evita was still alive. That was when Perón was the number 1 guy in Argentina. Like I said, he was the president. His wife, Eva, known as Evita, was just as popular. She sadly passed away not long after that. And his stock plummeted pretty badly. He had to flee the country. One of his Peronists were elected and put him back into power. He passed away in office and made his then-wife, Isabel, president. That didn't go well. It was a big disaster, so I didn't read when they changed it back, but they definitely were like, you know what, let's scratch that. We'll just call it the Chaco again. We don't need to name it after Juan Perón. A person who, in my opinion, and I know you guys don't like my opinions, but I feel like he became president with very good intentions and then just got completely corrupted by the power he was given and made it more self-serving, because he was all about the working class. That's how he got elected. He was all about the working class until he wasn't. But that is essentially the history of the Chaco province. Interesting one, isn't it? Argentina's provinces have some pretty wild histories. They're all very different from each other, aren't they? So why don't I go grab my tablet And we'll look at the couple of slideshows I found, but very interesting slideshows in Chaco. Let's go. Here we are in Chaco province. And let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. Here's beautiful Argentina with its wide array of landscapes. You can see the Andes Mountains, you can see Patagonia down here, Tierra del Fuego down at the tip, the Rio de la Plata, where Buenos Aires is located, and the Chaco up here. So let's start over in Resistencia. You can see Corrientes over here. There's this big bridge linking it, which came up every single time I researched. So where's the slideshow for the bridge? I have everything on, I sure do. There was a slideshow for the bridge. I swear. Anyway, here's the bridge. Oh no, it's a really pretty bridge. Maybe this barrio has pictures of the bridge. Not really. Looks pretty dilapidated, but there's the bridge over the Paraná River. Let's head over to Resistencia, where we can look at all the little oxbow lakes over here. How fun is that? Look at them all. There's so many. We're going to look at that second, the main plaza. The 25th of May plaza, which is of course like the most important day in Argentina. We've got San Martin up there, the biggest hero in Argentina's history. And lots of other people around as well. Oh, that's a really nice aerial shot, isn't it? That's really pretty. The main government building is, I'm going to say it's that. The culture, no, it's this building here. But what I want to show you is over here, in one of these buildings. Is it that one? This one? Is it this one? No, not the Supreme Court Justice. No, obviously it's not that one because nothing popped up there. So maybe it is this one. Yes, this is it. So this place is very important during a period known as the Dirty War. You can see some peaceful graffiti here commemorating the 40 years of this building's very sad history, where it was used as a detention center. People were tortured here. People lost their lives here. You can see it's a little museum today. And a good place to protest royal truth and justice. One of the many statues here in town. We'll look at a few more people who disappeared in this building here. Very, very sad period of Argentina's history was the Dirty War. Yeah, but we can always remember and reflect and, hope that nothing like that ever happens again. But like I said, on a happier note, Resistencia is known for its statues. You can see that there are lots of little boulevards throughout that have statues all throughout. Let's see if this is, I think, the most famous one. Looks like a spaceship or something. But there are many plazas all around with loads and loads of statues all over the place. Here's a big hippo. It's cute. Lots of various artsy, some historical, some memorials. And that's a cool old-timey photo. That's pretty awesome. Some indigenous music performance there. And yeah. So in all these little boulevards, there's all kinds. I found a couple really neat ones in my research, but they're not tagged. And that's very sad. There are some pretty cool ones. But the statue culture culminates over here in this park. Where here we have the like the statue, I guess, museum, and it's also where they have a big statue contest, and people from all over the world bring their statues, or just straight up carve them right there. Look at that. And they have a big festival of statues. And this whole park looks like some sand art too. This whole park has some pretty great ones. I think, let's see, I forget the slideshow that showed the best ones. Oh, that's just about the statues. You can see the famous one I showed you there. Here we go, La Rambla, because there's all the statues down here as well. Some indigenous art by the looks of it, and of course much more modern art. This is a pretty famous one here. And yeah, people from all over the world have their statues exhibited here in Resistencia. Isn't that fascinating? I like how, cities, including mine here in Idaho, pick things and like we're all about this thing. And statues is just a really cool thing to be like, this is what we're about. We're into statues, we're into sculptures. We are into this very difficult, very intricate, very beautiful art form. Love that. That's so cool. I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to show you in Resistencia, but I don't remember what it was. Maybe it'll come to me. If it's that important, it'll come to me. It always does. But I want to show you this area up here by the rivers. Not just the little oxbow lakes, which are so cute because there's so many of them, but look at this land. Look at how beautiful it is. Let's zoom in. It's like a painting right here. It's like God got out finger paints and just smudged all over. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't that fantastic? Amazing, amazing, amazing. Oh, it's beautiful. It's stunning. So over here, this is where the Paraguay River meets the Paraná River, which isn't technically, at this point, isn't in Chaco, but close enough. We'll take a look at where the Paraguay meets the Paraná. It's always fun to find little areas where like two waters collide and you get pictures like this. So it's two completely different colors of water meshing together. I love that. I love places like this. That's so cool. So, so cool. I love to see it. But yeah, I just thought this landscape was so pretty. Not little oxbows. I love oxbow lakes. It's not a common thing where I live in the US, so whenever I see oxbow lakes, I don't know, my little geography heart skips a beat. And you can see some more forming. Eventually, slowly but surely, more little oxbow lakes forming along the Paraná. Alright, let me show you the national park, which isn't like tagged. I had to type it in, so let me go to my searches. El Impenetrable National Park. See, it's not even tagged. I suppose because it's impenetrable. You can't really explore it too deep. It's impenetrable. But we'll see what we can find. Look at this tree. That trunk is thick with two C's, isn't it? It's almost like a baobab tree. Big lookout there, so you can look out over the Impenetrable Park. Since you can't penetrate it, apparently. Some wildlife there, little deer. Some really cool trees there. And lots of little camping and glamping sites. Oh, there's a jaguar. Oh, the biggest cat in the Americas. beautiful river there. I think that's what it looks like once you actually get into the park. But you can't because it's impenetrable. Very cool. Yeah, there's all the forest you can see. And look, there's more oxbow lakes. So cool. So cool. All right, as you can see, the rest of this area is just farmland. I should have pointed it out when I had the map. Let me show you. Because you know what we say on this channel. When you look at shapes of places and you see straight lines, Mother Nature doesn't make straight lines. If you see straight lines on a map, that is man-made. And it's a straight line because there is nothing there to differentiate one side over the other. There's nothing there. It is plains. It is empty farmland. Which is sad because this was all once, jungle, like the Impenetrable park that we just saw. It all looked like that once upon a time, and now it looks like this. It is all farmland, which is sad, but I don't know, these little patchworks are really pretty too from above, isn't it? All these little farm grids in the little towns where all the roads meet. Very, very rural. Yeah, it gets really farmy down here. There's a cat here. There's a jaguar. Jet jaguars here. How perfect. All right, let's look at the meteorite field. Let's see if I can find it. It's around here somewhere. I feel like I'm not going to find it. I mean, I'll find it. Oh, look at the triple frontier where Santiago, Santa Fe, and Chaco meet. Let me see. That didn't pop up when I was researching. They got a little, that's why, because it's just this thing here. That just differentiates. That's funny. In 1898, this was made. That's cool. All right, let me pull up. Let me see what it was called. It was called Campo del Cielo. Campo del Cielo. There's the museum, and you can see the craters all around. There's a crater. Of course, like I said, the rocks are long gone. But you can see some of the indentations that were made. It looks like there's a farm around them, don't they? At this estancia. Let's look at this one. There's a whole bunch of craters. This one's pretty good. They really dug this one out. Wow. Let's find some more. Okay, how come I found like a ton of them when I was researching? I found so many craters. There we go. There's La Tota crater. There were so many over here. There's Carmen Sosa. We looked at Taniego. Yeah. Anyway, there's a bunch of craters. And then here's the museum, Meteorite Chaco, where, oops, Google Earth's crashing. Hold on. 1 second. Of course, I couldn't wait just like 2 minutes while I finish this video, could it? Absolutely not. There's another crater. And now the museum has disappeared. Oh, there we go. My goodness. Maybe that's just what it needed, was to restart. So we could see all the craters. I told you there were more. You didn't believe me, but I was right. Look at that. A big rock from space. It's named Adolfo. Awesome. And then there's a little museum. Yep, there's Adolfo. Look at all of them. That's amazing. Meteorites from space. Those are not of Earth. Isn't that something? Wow, look at them pulling it out. That's amazing. This was not the slideshow that I had pulled up. This is different. Whoa. Yeah, look at that meteor. Let me see the one that I had when I just typed in Campo del Cielo. Yeah, see, look it. He's posing with the rock. That would be me. I would be psyched. I've never seen. I think I've seen a meteorite. I feel like when I went to the Turing Smithsonian, I saw a meteorite, or maybe it was a moon rock. I think it was a moon rock actually. But like, that's so cool. It's from space. I guess from the asteroid belt is what they're showing here. Where these things came from, I guess. Campo del Cielo. That's a wild tree. I assume it's a cactus of some kind, but that's pretty crazy. I got some wildlife displayed there as well. Can see all the creepy crawlies that live here. No, thank you. And a big meteor. That's so cool. I love it. That is awesome. But yeah, I'm pretty sure all these craters are on private property, to be honest. Here's La Perdida. I don't think they have any pictures now, because I think they're all on private property now. But that is pretty much all I've got for you. Let's see if the bridge will pop up now. But we wound up in Paraguay. Not today. No Paraguay today. Oh my goodness, see, look at that. Come back. Come back. Come back. I saw it for half a second. Did you see it? The bridge, the bridge, the bridge. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Yeah. We got it. All right, let's end the video here on the bridge to Corrientes. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this style of content, please consider subscribing. We had lots of South America this week, and next week we're going to have lots of Asia. We're going to 3 very different Asian countries. We're going to start off in Thailand. And we're going to see some beautiful Watts. It's just outside Bangkok, too, the area we're going to. So we're going to see some really beautiful sights to see. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Don't forget to give this video a big ol' thumbs up and let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I would love to read them. Shout out to all of my Argentine viewers. My Buenos Aires video was my biggest one last year. So muchas gracias, my Argentine viewers. I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate your enthusiasm. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good